Hello to everyone, to all the ones that are ascending, those that are aspiring to go to greater heights and higher heights. I just want to say thank you for the ones that have. I'm a new kind of videographer, so I'm new just to posting about my life and different feelings that I have towards what's going on in the world. And so to the ones that have interacted and who have viewed the videos, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, just to show gratitude. I'm a mom, um, a witchy girl. I am a teacher and a lover of peace, wholeness, I should say. I always say wholeness and love at the end of each video because, they say that certain words are a spell. So I don't want to say peace because I don't want you to have a piece of happiness. I want you to have a whole bit of happiness, wholeness, and love. So that's why I say that. So I'm a lover of whole beings, wholeness, and healing and love. But I wanted to come on to kind of give you kind of a glimpse into my background because I just popped on here as if y'all knew me and you knew who I was and what prompted me to start, I guess, posting or podcasting, I should say. So, where should I begin? Okay, so I'm barefaced today. Now, I'm a makeup girly. I'm a makeup girly from way back in the days, but I figure I'm bearing myself, a bit of myself, to the public, and so I just wanted to be natural because I love my natural looks. I don't need tons of makeup to, be approved. So anyway, so where do I start? Maybe where I was born. I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana, born on the river. I was born by the river in a little tent. Yeah, I wasn't born in a little tent, but I was born in a hospital on the Mississippi River. So I have a particular bond with the water, and I think that's more ancestral than it is just where I was born. And so the title, my I guess my channel's name, Mother Claimed Me. It's not talking about my mama. No, I have I say mama because I'm from New Orleans, so I rep hard, mama. So anyway, my mama's wonderful. She's wonderful, and she didn't have to claim me because she never denied me. But when I say mama, I mean Yemoya, Ocean, Sekhmet, Erzula Danta, the Sibyls, the celestial mothers who reached down and just claimed me and helped me to regain a sense of who I was and who I am. So just to start, I just love nature, and I've always loved nature as a child. I've always loved learning because my father is one. Well, my father transcended to another realm. Love you, Daddy. But my father was always a lover of knowledge and learning, and he got baptized. Him and my mama in the '60s, the 1960s, they got baptized into a religion that's very, very rigid and stringent. But I noticed with my daddy, I'd go to their house and my dad has just like a plethora, a library of books, because he would research. Like he'd read something that they would tell him to read, and then he'd go to the big bookstore and he'd get a book on it and he'd be reading stuff and learn how to read Hebrew or you'd see Latin. So like he had a book on religion, like Hindu, Buddhist, and everything. And so I was like, Dad, you're awesome. And so that fueled in me, and not just me. I think I see what my nephews are like that too, that my brothers as well, my sisters, fueled in us a love of knowledge and not just taking things at face value. And what somebody tells you to do, you go and research it and find out if it's good for yourself. So I have that background. I don't have the poor little black girl background. Oh, you don't have your mother, you don't have your father, poor thing. I have a mother, I have a father, and I grew up in an environment in New Orleans, in the religion in particular, where I saw strong marriages. I saw men, black men, so-called black men. My skin is actually golden, but so-called black men who worked and took care of their families and who never left their children. My dad worked, my mama worked, and they took care of us. So that's my narrative. So I don't have the poor little girl narrative. But then I went out into the world, and of course you're gonna see what you see. You're going to go through what you go through, and you can't deny that brown skinned girls, brown skinned guys, particularly in America, go through different things. And so I saw that. But I had a kind of a sheltered childhood. But growing up in New Orleans, it was just always magical. It's a magical place. Being near that water and just learning the things that we were learning. Like my mama told me my grandfather, when my sisters, I have two older sisters, my sisters would get sick, he would put like take a piece of the broomsticks and put it in their hair and smoke it, blow tobacco smoke in their face to help with colic and all. So we were learning these hoodoo things, these I'd say not hoodoo, natural, because it's who we really were. So we were learning that on one end and religion on the other end. Something else we would learn, like, castor oil, goose grease, and honey. You always have to have your neck covered. You always have to have your feet covered. Just different things about your house. Don't put wind chimes because it brings certain things into the house, Just being careful. Certain herbs, like even bay leaves. Bay leaves were for, we know what a bay leaf is for. And we put lots of bay leaves in our cooking in New Orleans. And I had to research the true meaning of why we cooked with bay leaves. And I love that. And I think for a long time, I got away from that, the healing energy of our wonderful mothers, our grandfathers, and our uncles, and what have you. Like we would, if we got a mosquito bite, you put apple cider vinegar or baking soda, and you put it on the mosquito bite, or you put it on the ant bite, or the bees, because I'm allergic to bee stings, and you put it on there, and it sucks whatever venom is in there. So we were learning those wonderful natural things. But then I also, I remember, I'm going to veer off because I want to say something. There's a show that was popular in the 1990s and the 2000s, The Real World, in MTV, when MTV was music, and it just started going into the shows, and they said, this is the true story of 6 people who are picked to live in a house, and basically they say that you find out what happens when people stop being polite and start getting real. So I'm gonna get real with you. The religion that I joined, I was kind of low-key indoctrinated. So like I was having these visions and these dreams and these beautiful, beautiful visitations, and I was just taught that it was wrong. It's demonic, it's the demons, it's the devil. Like, who says that? It's Bobby Boucher's mama. Mama says everything is the devil. That's how I kind of grew up, in a fear-based ideology. My neighbor. Anyway, my mom's neighbor. So I grew up in kind of a fear-based ideology where everything that I was feeling and I was being taught, and the spirits were always talking to me. But on that one hand, I knew what I was experiencing, the dreams and the visions, and the dreams would come true. And then I'd read a scripture that says, okay, if you have a dream or a vision and that vision comes true, then stone her. So, I'm not going to tell nobody that I just had a dream that came true, not realizing that was my ancestors maybe had chosen me and were talking to me from whatever particular beautiful, beautiful realm that they're in. And I love them. But on the one hand, I was being contacted by the spirit because they never let me go. But on the other hand, I was just really, really in the strict religion. I didn't celebrate birthdays, Christmas, which I know a lot of people are getting away from holidays now, so I don't have a problem with that, not celebrating holidays. But I was also being taught to deny who I was, to subdue it, to beat it down, and just to be in fear. And everything that I did, you're fearful of what the consequences. You're scared of what's going to happen. I like this guy or whatever, but he's not of my faith, so I can't date him, I can't marry him. If you do, we didn't believe in going to hell, but something bad is going to happen to you. And I'm not going to knock that religion, because I have lifelong friends there, like family members. Like when you're a part of that particular religion, my parents were friends with certain parents, and so I'm friends with the children, and I'm friends with the children's children. So I did love that. I saw strong so-called black families, and that helped to shape me on the one hand. But then, as I said, on the other hand, and I just want to give you a trigger warning, this is kind of a longer video that I'm used to doing, because I want you to kind of know who I am and what's spurring me on to kind of just share my experiences. If I have particular epiphanies or poems about my real life, I want to put it on here, but I want you to know who I am first before I do that. And I'm not here to tell you what to do, because as I said, I see these podcasters and they're like, our people, we as a people, we need to do this and we need to do that. No, you need to do what you need to do, and I need to listen to my ancestral guidance and the spiritual guidance and do what I'm guided to do. So I'm never here to tell you what you need to do, because your journey is different from mine. And collectively, as a collective, we're basically not the same. We're not the same. And I recognize that. And so, anyway, so getting back to what I was saying. So I've always just been this wonderful girl that loved nature, loved hugging trees, not recognizing what's wrong with me, girl. 2025, that brain fog, but not recognizing that there were spirits in the trees that were calling me. But that water, oh my God, I had such a bond. So Hurricane Katrina hit, and so I came to Houston, which does not have as much water as New Orleans. We're surrounded by water. There's Lake Pontchartrain, there's the Gulf of Mexico, there's the Mississippi, which the Mississippi was just like really, really a big part of our lives down there. And so, my phone is glitching, sorry. And so, we'd always do things around the Mississippi, so but the water is also very, very mystical, it's very magical. It just carries spirits, it has memory. I have my viewpoint of the water that I probably won't say here. You can, if you're a water person, and I'm a Capricorn, so I'm not a water sign. I guess Capricorn is because it's a sea goat, so I guess it's a water in its land. And I'm a nature girl, and I love water as well. So anyway, being deep into religion and into a fear-based mindset, I was scared that my daughter, if she came out and she did something that they said was wrong, that I had to reject her, that I had to stop talking to her. And guess what happened? She did just that. Oh, my daughter. She veered to the left, and they said, go to the right. My daughter's like, nope, mama, no, I'm not doing it. So she, I guess, broke the rules of their religion, and I had a choice. Do I love this wonderful, wonderful being? Because in this realm, I have one daughter. So do I disown her because she did what they said was wrong, or do I love her through it and love her, not even love her through it, just love her? And she's wonderful. She's a wonderful person. And so, of course, I chose to love my child through it. My child, as I said, I'm not just the mom, that black mom that thinks that your child can't do any wrong. Because I'm a teacher, so I check my child. She'll tell you I'm the first one to check her if I feel like she's doing something that is detrimental to her. But she's awesome. And so, the water. So my daughter, my nephew, and my niece, my nephew was never baptized in that religion, but my niece and my daughter and I were. But, him having a grandmother and a grandfather, and he lived with them, so he kind of was exposed to it as well. But they started studying quantum physics and Deepak Chopra and what is this guy? Becoming Supernatural, Dr. Joe Dispenza. These were kids in their 16, 17, and 18, and they were studying this. And so I know they were called. And they never let up on me. They could see something in me. These kids never let up on me. They were like, Mama or Aunt Marcia. My name is Marcia. Aunt Marcia or Mama. Just look further into what you believe and why you believe it. Because on the one hand, I see you as this wonderful natural nature girly getting all these visions and everything. And on the other hand, you're just blindly following this religion because they told you to, and they scared you to death that you do something bad, you're not going to go to hell, you're just not going to make it to paradise, you're going to die. And you're not going to just die, your family is going to die and everything. And so I started listening. So what broke me free of religion, and please, religious people, listen, I'm not knocking you, you do you. I'm only speaking from my point of view. So I married a guy who was a Muslim, and his father, I love him. So his father would pray for me, and my father would pray for me. So I started saying, when he prays to Allah, and my father prays to, who that religion says is God, does that God hear my father but not hear my father-in-law who loves me just as much? And it helped me to recognize that what is going to bring us together? What brings us together? Either we're going to be brought together or we won't be brought together, but spirituality. Spirituality. We know we have a moral compass and we know right from wrong, but you have to recognize what is good for you. Now, some people, maybe they need a strict set of rules, a strict set of do's and don'ts to help to guide them. I didn't, because I knew right from wrong, and I've always been that person, this obedient person, but I had to unlearn that. I had to learn how not to be obedient to what they told me and to learn the right thing for me. So, mother, getting back to how mama claimed me, the celestial mother, the real mother. So the said Muslim that I spoke of, he and I divorced, and I moved to Galveston, Texas, closer to the water. And so it's so interesting because I had never heard of Yemoya, Mar de Agua, the mother of the water. I had never heard of her. So, but I'd pass over. If you know anything about Galveston, you have to cross a causeway to get over into the island. So every time that I'd go over the causeway, I'd look and I'd say, hello, mother. Hello, mother. And so then I'd go to Seawall Boulevard and I'd be like, hello, mother. And I called her mother because I said that she sustains all. Her celestial womb, her waters is what sustains us, not knowing that mama was calling me. So I'd go and I'd sit on the water, on the beach, and I'd hear the waves lapping back and forth, and I'd get these spiritual downloads and visions. And it's so interesting also because I had decorated my entire house blue and white, not just my room, my entire house blue and white, and they say that those colors are associated with the mother Yemoya. So I can't even remember how her name came to me. So, well, of course I know it was the spirit that guided me. So near that water, so like I said, I've started calling the water mother even before. So hurricanes would hit and I would speak to the hurricanes and say, it's okay. It's okay. I remember it was Hurricane Frederick, I think. And I said, it's okay. What's wrong? What's wrong? Now, I'm not going to say it dissipated, but I wasn't afraid to talk to the hurricane, to get in tune and in touch with nature. So she started calling me. She called her child back. And I'm back. I'm coming. I'm still learning, And I don't have that fear-based mindset anymore, because this year in January was my birthday, and this is the first year that I have ever celebrated a birthday in 53 years. My daughter took me to see Wicked, and this is the first time I've ever celebrated a birthday in 53 years without being scared to death that I'm going to hell. Well, we not go to hell, but you're not going to make it into paradise because you just broken a law. Mother helped me with that. She helped me not to live in a fear-based mindset. So not to be so rigid and stringent and judgmental and angry and if you do something wrong and I'm not going to talk to you because you're the biggest sinner and you're okay, then don't talk to me. What's a sin? It's just a fine line between you telling me that I'm a sinner and what I believe. And so that's who I am, and that's why I come on to kind of podcast, just to talk about my healing journey, because I've had a lot to heal from. A lot, like I said, the main thing for me was the fear-based ideology that I was taught, and breaking free from it. I celebrated Dia de los Muertos for the first time last year. It was magical. Owning who I am and who I was always meant to be, owning that. And if I could help someone to break out of a fear-based mindset, I'm here to do that. So I hope that you enjoy my videos. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you that you're not scared off seeing me with seeing the no makeup and natural. As I said, I'm 53 and I am loving being natural. And you know what? You go out in nature too. I love being natural, and I hope that you love being natural as well. Let's raise the vibration of this earth. Let's listen. When you're called by whoever you're called by, If it's, you know if it's a good entity that's calling you. Let's listen. Let's raise the vibration of this astral plane, okay? And let's live a wonderful, natural life full of wholeness and love. Wholeness and love.